Hey, Taco Tuesday fans, this is Christian Brindle.
And I am Glen Shelton.
We came together and combined our forces to create something special for insurance agents called Taco Tuesday. Let's taco about insurance. My company, Christian Brindle Insurance Services,
and my company, Lead Heroes,
is here to bring you the latest and greatest news happening in the insurance industry today and eat some tacos while we do it.
If you enjoy the content that we put out on this podcast, feel free to leave us a review or subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes.
Without further ado, let's get into this episode of Taco Tuesday. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another rendition of Taco Tuesday. Let's talk about insurance. This is season 3. I'm Christian Brindle. He's Glen Shelton. And we're here to talk about insurance. Although I feel like we haven't had tacos very much recently.
You know, we haven't. My new diet consists of our unofficial 2022 sponsor, Red Bull. Gives you wings. Guys, here's a little hack. If you're trying to figure out how to get more hours out of the day, you stop eating and you replace your meals with Red Bull. If you do that, you'll probably outsell most of your other agents that you're competing with. So Red Bull, insurance professionals' preferred beverage.
I've heard it gives you wings, and so thought I'd just try it out, see what goes on, but
hey, really fast, so while we're on said topic, before we jump into today's topic at Taco Tuesday, hope everyone's having a great Tuesday, but how are we going to tie tacos into Six Figure Summit, which is coming up this summer? Because there has to be some sort of tie to talk. Do you have any ideas?
I thought that you were going to come out with some kind of taco cannon and blast the audience in the face the first couple of rows.
What if we, okay, hear me out. I bet we could find suits that have tacos on them.
Oh, God.
What if we wore taco suits for one of the days of the summer?
Oh, my gosh.
That would be legend. Now I'm going to have to look.
You know what we could do? And this is just an idea.
Okay.
But what we could do is on Thursday. So everybody's going to fly in Thursday. I don't know if you made your travel
the night before. The night before.
Well, we have a welcome party the night before. That's just that's the thing in the evening time. But I don't know if you've already made your travel arrangements. But like,
I have not.
If you fly in earlier in the day,
okay, we
could do a live in-person Taco Tuesday at the hotel, because me and my staff will be there to greet everybody and check everybody in and everything like that. And then we could just have a bunch of tacos just out in the lobby for people.
Dude, okay. Do you remember when Trump was president and there was that picture of he had McDonald's? I don't know if it was who he was having, but he just had, I was kind of jealous when I saw it. I was like, wow. I'm like, he literally has 10 things of every item from McDonald's. What if we did that with Taco Bell? It's like people are walking in, they're checking in. We're live streaming people checking in for the event. And part of their check-in is we have $1,000 worth of Taco Bell. Just
dude, it definitely would be in the budget for the event. You know what I'm saying? I think there's a lot of different things.
Got that sponsorship money, bro. Let's go. I love it. I love it. Okay,
I think there's a lot of different things we can do, but I agree. I think we 100% need to figure out a way to do something. I love the live episode idea, though. I really do. Yeah. We just got to find what time period and when we're going to do it, because so Friday and Saturday, and I don't want this episode to just turn into a Summit episode, but
right.
So I'll be quick with it. But Friday and Saturday, we're going to have speakers from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. because we have to fit 18 speakers in 2 days.
Right.
And that's with an hour lunch in between on both days. So
that makes sense.
I mean, we could always try to do something after the event one of the days. we're still trying to figure out activities for Friday and Saturday. I mean, Thursday night we'll have the welcome party, and that's going to be like ridiculous. It's a nice venue. There's a stage. There's going to be music, open bar. Like it's going to be sick.
Okay, so 2 a.m. Tony will be there Thursday night.
2 a.m. Tony will probably be there the whole weekend.
Yes. That's what I'm here for.
I mean, I've never been to a conference where 2 a.m. Tony was not present, and it was more like 5 a.m. Tony, like
love it.
Especially at 8%. He was like everywhere at 8%. Like me and Andrew Lee went up to the roof one of the nights, of the Statler, which is awesome. They had like this big open bar, pool, everything like on the roof. And it's like probably 1:30 in the morning. We just came from shooting content with Eric Fierro, and we walk back over to Statler. I go back up there, and there's Tony, and he's lit up. He sees us, and he's like,
Shout out to Tony Merwin.
Yeah, I mean, just the best.
That is awesome.
The person you want at your conference. That's secretly why we asked him to be the MC, because we had to have him there.
Okay, Taco Tuesday troops, you just heard it first here live. That conversation just happened for the first time. There will most likely be a live episode that gets recorded of Taco Tuesday, either before, during, or after the conference. Stay tuned. We'll hit you with those details. Today's topic, you guys, I want to jump into it. We don't have a ton of time, and there's a lot to talk about. Free leads, free clients, zero marketing dollars. How do you do it? Right? How can you get a client, someone who's buying insurance from you, right? How can you do that without spending any money? That's what we're talking about today. And I'm scared because this could personally hurt me, Christian. If this episode blew up, if this became our biggest episode and everyone's like, don't buy leads, don't go to Lead Heroes, just listen to Glen talk about how to do it for free. Glen talked about it for free. Don't pay Glen.
We'll put this video on the front page of Lead Heroes website.
So don't buy leads.
I want to start off a disclaimer.
Yes.
This video does not mean don't buy leads.
Okay.
Right? Like let's just get that out of the way. You need to spend money on your business. Your business is going to have a ceiling if everything you're doing is ground and pound.
Right.
It's only so scalable if you can even make the argument that it is scalable. I am 100% of the belief, and you said it perfectly, better than I ever could, before we even went live on here. But the most successful agencies are doing a bit of everything, right? They're not just doing one thing. And so leads 100% should be a big part of your marketing attack. Now that being said, though, I do believe that we're in a time period right now that 2 years ago, when COVID kind of came onto the scene and shutdowns were happening, people didn't want to go leave their house. Like, it was just a weird time. You had the people that didn't transition into phone sales had incredibly difficult years, and a lot of people were put out of business. It just is what it
100%
is what it is. And buying leads, especially, the type of leads that Lead Heroes does. I mean, we did a lot of Lead Heroes business that year, and it was incredibly profitable for us because it just went so perfectly together, right? With the telemarketing aspect of it. I think that with a lot of different types of leads, direct mail for sure, Facebook ads, we're starting to see, and I think a lot of agents experience this past AEP, is the saturation of all of the marketing that's going on right now. Like if people were getting 3 or 4 direct mail lead pieces in a couple of days or a week 5 years ago, they're probably getting 10 a day now from all of the different lead vendors that are out there in the space. I think there's more people running Facebook ads than ever. I think there's more, ringless voicemails and robocalls hitting people's phones. And I think that you have to find a way to pivot. And the trends happen in our business, right? So the pendulum swings back and forth. You got to adjust with it. One of my favorite books of all time is Who Moved My Cheese. If any of you guys haven't read that book,
great book,
definitely ties into this topic that I'm talking about. But so what we're talking about today is how to actually get business and ingratiate yourself in your community. And build referral partners. And I've been reading the dictionary, by the way.
Wow.
You got me. I like to catch
Preparing
a
for
mental switch as
Summit.
well.
He's preparing for Summit, you guys. He wants to look super smart. He's just tearing through that dictionary, getting that vocab up. I love it.
But like, one thing I wanted to ask you about is somebody that's a real expert at lead generation. What do you feel like are some tactics that people can use to kind of get out there, ground and pound, maybe not necessarily cold calling, but how they can kind of generate their own business and add that layer to their business if maybe they don't have the finances right up front?
Absolutely. And you guys, I mentioned this in the last episode we recorded. I guarantee you I've talked about it on here multiple times, but as much as I am a marketer and I own a marketing company and my primary source of income and revenue is lead generation and people buying leads, buying marketing from me, my background is from cold marketing, cold door knocking, right? So my background is I got started generating leads with zero money spent. Like that was my background. I did that for over a year. Cold door knocking, going door to door, got like most of you listening to this or watching this. And honestly, sometimes I forget, but like most of you will never and have never done this. Okay. But I want you to really think about this for a second. What I did for over a year, I'm walking up to a random door on the street. I'm knocking on someone's house. Knock, knock, knock. They answer the door. They're looking at me like, who the frick is this guy? Like, who is this guy knocking on? And I am pitching a sales. I'm selling now. At the time, this was before insurance. I'm selling home security systems. Okay. But that's literally, and I was successfully converting sales. Hey guys, I'm just here in your neighborhood today. We've heard that there's been break-ins in the area. And so we're actually giving out a free alarm system. The equipment's totally free. We can only give out 5 of these in the neighborhood. It's part of the promotional offer. And then we've got to go somewhere else. Do you have a minute? Can I come in? Can I talk to you a little bit more about this? I'm wiping my freaking feet on the mat. I'm getting in the door, you guys. So cold door knocking is just one example of how you can do this. I'm also going to take this a step further. I'm going to plug our website at Lead Heroes. I have a list. It's a blog article, 111 ideas to generate your own leads for free. That's on Lead Heroes. 111 ideas on how you can generate leads for free. So there's so many ways. And that's why I was mentioning, like we could talk for probably 5 hours about this because there is so many ways that you can do this. You don't have to spend money. If you're a new agent, if you're just getting started, maybe you're transitioning from one agency, you're becoming independent, you don't have to pay anybody. You can do this for free. It's not fun. And a lot of times you're converting your time, you're taking all of your time to do this, right? So like from an efficiency standpoint, I wouldn't say it's the most efficient way to generate business. But that being said, there's a ton of agents and agency owners who have referral systems, who have these methods of getting clients without actually spending money. So that was kind of a long-winded answer to the topic. But Christian, is there you want to kind of go back and forth? Like you want to discuss maybe a strategy? Like I just talked about cold door knocking. I know you talked about cold calling. That's how you got started. I mean, we could probably just go back and forth here and talk about some different strategies that people can utilize to generate clients.
For sure. I mean, I think, both of us have had tremendous success with cold door knocking. I mean, you more than me than actually door knocking. I did some of that, but that was never really my strong suit. My strong suit was picking up the phone and calling people and kind of being able to generate a conversation from nothing. That's what I got really good at through time and kind of putting in those reps. But I think one thing that a lot of people I think this is realistic to say. I think there's very few people that want to go through that. I really do. I think it's some of the most hardcore, super, super high rejection aspects of business. You always have to go through rejection in business. There's no other way around it, but it's grueling and it's not for everybody. I think everybody that's done it can probably, attest to that. For both,
you're gonna learn a lot about yourself really quick.
Yeah,
you're gonna learn a lot in a very short amount of time if you choose.
One thing that I've noticed the last year or so, probably since COVID has started to kind of lift up a little bit, more people are starting to go out. There's just not the same level of paranoia as maybe there used to be. I'm sure there is for some people, but is people that build an entire business on the back of doing three things in their community. And by doing these three things in their community, this actually works especially well if you're in a local area. I just talked to an agent yesterday that is in a town of 5,000 people. And there's really nobody doing Medicare in her town. And I'm like, girl, you can get in here and you can be the person, right? And like, you can absolutely like just crush it. And so essentially what I would say with that would be the three things that you can do is, number one, you can network with other insurance professionals, but not just other insurance professionals, other businesses in the area. Like if you're in a small town where everybody knows everybody, a great person that comes to mind that's done this very successfully is Rebecca Davis. Everybody in her town knows her. She's known as the go-to person for that, for Medicare. She gets a ton of referrals. We've done this maybe to a smaller extent. I don't know exactly how many referrals she gets, but we've done this too in our area, to where tons of people in the area, financial planners, P&C agents, other businesses, they just know us as, Christian's the guy, his office is the first place you want to work with. So that's the first thing you can do. The second thing you can do is, if you can really get a real grasp hold on events, right? You're doing seminars, events, things like that. The restrictions and the rules and the compliance of that all has been dramatically lightened the last couple of years, which makes it a little bit easier to actually run them consistently. If you're doing like educational events and you're really just, putting yourself out there, that you have a heart to serve and you're, educate your community, people are going to want to do business with you. And you don't have to spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of events to make them profitable. I mean, if you really want to scale them, you got to pump some money into them, but you can spend a very small amount, go to a library and get a free meeting room in a library. I've actually found that seniors are probably less threatened to go to a library than they are your office, because your office is probably a more intimidating place. The library is the public library,
Right.
And that's free. You can reserve that meeting space. And so, I mean, you're never going to have the same turnout as you would at a Golden Corral, but I mean, if you can get 5-6 people in the room on a very low budget and you're able to get 2 clients out of that, that's a good day's work. So that's number 2. Number 3, I would say, is work with, different kinds of, senior living places. 55 and up communities are probably better than assisted living, and offer to do like events for them, do bingo. I've talked about this before, but like if you can do some kind of creative, fun activity for the residents and just have it be sponsored by your company and be like, hey, I just wanted to start this up. I'll let you know. My name's Christian. I specialize in Medicare health plans. I know everything there is to know about Medicare. We're holding this activity today just so you can have some fun on our dime. We're happy to do it for you. But if you'd like to talk to me, let's talk afterward, that kind of thing. Like just, and then don't talk about it again. You'd be amazed at the people that will come and talk to you. And, I've talked about doing rock painting events. Another thing you can do is like,
Ooh, that's a good one.
I mean, that's one I learned from a Humana broker manager when I was living in Tampa, and it was wildly successful for him. And it worked well for us.
Yeah.
So there's so many different things you can do to ingratiate yourself in the community, but that is more of that sweat equity. But I know people that have done this, built out referral networks, done all these things that I'm saying, and they'll have a book of business of 500 clients, 800 clients, 1,000 clients, and they've never picked up the phone. They've never called a lead before. They don't know how to do it. Now, I think you should work leads in your business. I think that you want to be a well-versed agency that can do many different things and have business coming in multiple different channels. But especially when you're at the beginning, I think that's a real good thing right now, because I think people are tired of phone calls. They're tired of TV commercials. They just want to talk to somebody that's real.
Yep. You kind of stole mine. So one I was going to talk about
Sorry.
I'm like, you're the worst. No, one of them I was going to talk about is senior centers. I personally, as an agent, never really got into senior centers. But I know many agents who've done extremely well getting into senior centers. I remember even talking to one agent. I don't think this agent ever executed, but he had this idea where he was going to basically like have a road. He basically had like all of the senior centers like within this, couple hour radius of the office that he was in. Okay, independent agent. And his idea was basically to have like a weekly idea and almost hit like every single senior center within a week, and almost exclusively target senior centers. So, your mileage may vary. Also, it's one of those things where I feel like with the senior center, like maybe it's not very hot in your community. Maybe people aren't really utilizing it. But I know for a fact there are certain communities where the senior center is like prime. Like you can go in there and you can sell everybody. So, Christian already kind of talked about the seminar aspect of it, but another one. So I'm going to kind of hit on two really fast. One is you build a website. Now, if you have a website, obviously there might be some costs involved in that website, but essentially that's like a business card for your business, for your agency. So, you can get organic traffic to go through that website. Once you have it, there's really cheap ways of getting started. You can even do it yourself and do it for pennies on the dollar to set up a really basic website out the gate. So once you have that website, you can share it on social media. You can share it with friends and family. You can share it with, acquaintances, networking events, etc. Then people can find you. They can fill out, a lead form on your website, and that whole sales process can start. So, utilizing social media organically, just posting on social media, sharing your information on social media. It might seem, I guess sometimes it's kind of cringy to me when I see an agent where it's like, if you need help with Medicare, and like that's their Facebook. And I'm like, okay, listen, that's fine. But like, please God, tell me that you're not banking on this one post. I guess that's in my head. That's what, when I see that, I'm like, is this agent like posting today thinking maybe I'll generate business today? And they're like, Facebook and like praying, because it should be part of a bigger plan. It shouldn't be that you're posting on Facebook and hoping the leads just start rolling in,
Yeah. Agreed. I think, that's really good. I mean, I think to kind of piggyback on what you're talking about with the website.
Yeah.
This is probably more of a long-term play, but like some people say, I don't, it's going to cost me a fortune to get ranked on Google, right? Or to have any business come in through my SEO or anything like that. But it doesn't have to. If you build out, this comes back to what we've talked about before. This is probably a multi-year play. So it's not, you don't want to bank on it, but it's something that you can kind of work on in the background of your business, and kind of, it's created a whole arm of our business, if you will. Like it's become a huge thing about what we do. And that's through like having a content marketing strategy that ties in with your website, right? So like if you set up a Google My Business page, completely free for your business, Google is going to favor local businesses when people are searching in the area over national businesses. So if there is a eHealth, let's say,
yep,
are they going to outrank me? Well, they probably will, because they're probably spending $50 million or whatever, but like $100 million, whatever. But like, but it doesn't mean they're not going to swoop up all of the local traffic from me.
Right.
Traffic is going to get to me. I mean, we've kind of gotten to a place now that essentially what we're looking at is we have people that call our office every single week now because they found our website online and they were just browsing. And the way we've been able to do that, and I don't want to go into too much detail because I'd love to create a course and charge you guys all tons of money for it. But we've done some blogging on our website. We strategically will make a YouTube video with the concept of, we're also going to make a blog about it. We're going to put the YouTube videos on our website. We want to put in, like specific keywords in the meta tags on the website, things like that, and once you get into, if you ever do any work on your own website, I mean, it's probably easier, to be honest, just to pay someone to do it for you. As someone that's built your own website, all the hours I put into building my website to make it what it is today, I probably would have been much better off just paying someone 10 grand to do it, to be honest with you.
100%. I've said those words to you before.
Yes. Yeah. And so, I'm stubborn, and I know I'd like to try to conserve money, but I'm learning that's, I need to spend money to create more time for myself.
Yeah,
But
spend money to create time. 100%.
but maybe if you don't even have the budget, let's say, to pay someone to do the website, this is what you can do.
Right.
Google loves when you put your own branded YouTube content on your site. It loves it because Google owns YouTube.
Right.
So if people are going onto your website and they're watching YouTube videos from your website, it's helping Google in the long run. So it's going to favor your website just a little bit from that perspective. And then you attach your website with your Google My Business page. And, every time you get a new client, you should be trying to get them to leave you a good review on your Google My Business page. And there's just so many little things you can do over time. You have your YouTube channel go by the same name as your website name. Like, it is all ties together. It's almost like a tree. Your website's the foundation, and all the other things are just branches that kind of tie into it. And just by doing that consistently over some time, you'll have people that will find you locally that are looking for Medicare agents in XYZ town, or Medicare help or Medicare supplement in this town, or whatever the case might be. And that's really all that, and that's not all that we've done, but that's kind of the consent. That's like the basics of what we've been able to do. And it's worked very well for us. It just takes time.
Huge believer in SEO. Leadheroes.com gets thousands and thousands of organic searches that hit our website every single month. And niching down into something really specific like final expense and Medicare is much harder to rank for compared to doing something locally. Because that's the thing, is like, to give you a little peek behind the scenes on this SEO conversation, because I do love SEO, just like Christian was talking about. If I'm trying to rank nationally, because my audience is national, it's much harder to rank, even though I am in a very niche.
So you do rank though.
Well, I do, right? Yes. Well, I've spent an incredible amount of time in money, just like Christian was saying. Christian's essentially done the same thing. I spent an incredible amount of time and money to be first page ranking for keywords for Medicare and final expense leads on Lead Heroes. But the point I'm trying to make is local SEO is significantly easier to rank. And because there's not as much competitors typically. If you are a Medicare agency and you're just trying to hit your local community and you want to be the first one that comes up in your community when someone searches, that is much, much, much easier to do than to try to nationally. If you're trying to nationally rank on Medicare, good luck.
Right.
Godspeed. Exactly. Godspeed to you, because you're competing with monsters out there. But
right,
it can be done. National SEO can be done really fast. Another one that I want to discuss that I think is overlooked all the time and has a lot of value is newsletters. I love newsletters. On the free side, you can do an email newsletter. There is no cost to send an email newsletter, except, if you have an email service provider that might charge you pennies on the dollar. But again, you can send thousands and thousands of emails. These can go to prospective clients. These can go to people who are already your clients. I've seen some that are really well done. I've seen some newsletters that do bring in business. They can be about different, products, services, right? So maybe you sold all these people MedSup and you want to try to sell them cancer policies. So you have a newsletter that goes out. This is going to do so many different things. It can introduce, a new policy line to your clients, which can bring in revenue. It's reminding your clients that you're there, that you're alive, so they can refer people to you. You can ask for referrals in that newsletter. There's a million reasons why I think newsletters can be really successful. So you can also send them physically in the mail. Obviously, there's going to be more of a cost associated with that versus sending a virtual one. I think you could potentially do both, maybe even copy the content back and forth. But that's one that I think gets overlooked quite a bit that I really like. Would be doing like a monthly newsletter or quarterly newsletter, sending that out to a list of people that you have their info on.
I think that's really big. And I like that. I think that's a really great strategy. There's so many things that you can do to get business in our industry. And like Glenn said earlier, we could talk about it for hours on end, but all good things must come to an end, my friends.
Right.
Mr. Shelton, final words on this topic.
Two things, kind of my final words on how to get clients for free, how to generate free leads. One, again, leadheroes.com, on our blog, 111. It's really a guide. 111. I'm on it right now. I want to read the exact title of the blog article to you, so that way you know which one I'm talking about. How to get free insurance leads with 111 free lead generation ideas. So, we have a huge list on our website that you can find if you want to read more about this. Number two is, I've talked about this on Taco Tuesday before, is I actually got the Captive Mutual of Omaha marketing guide. It was a big, thick guide. I'd looked for it before. I don't know if I still have it, unfortunately, but it's a big, thick guide like that big about how Mutual of Omaha's captive agents were to market themselves. And I thought it was pretty good because there was several different funnels essentially that they recommended. There was paid leads or paid advertising, referrals, your warm market, events. I would love to get my hands on it again so I could really show you guys or go into more detail about it. But the point is, their recommendation, Mutual of Omaha, one of the biggest insurance companies in the US in the senior market, their recommendation to their agents is have multiple things going. Don't just bet everything on one horse, So that's my final thoughts, you guys. I hope Christian and I have helped with ideas on how you can get free leads or free clients without spending money on marketing. Christian, final thoughts, good sir.
Yeah. I will, I will be brief, but, just to kind of piggyback on kind of what if some of what Glen was talking about, I think there's a lot of different ways to get business if you're creative. I think the main thing I would tell you guys is there isn't one necessarily cookie cutter thing that's going to explode your business. Everything is effective in limited capacity. But when you put a bunch of things together, they're all working a little bit in their own way. And you have just a little bit of a drip on that one method, and you put together these different, pipelines that are bringing in business, for lack of a better word. Eventually, it's going to, you have enough drips and it turns into like, you're just getting guzzled. It's going to guzzle all over you, and so, so I think, one thing you guys need to understand is I think creativity is going to be your very best friend. You want to think of things that other people aren't doing. I think just doing the same thing that everybody else is doing, it's probably been beaten to hell, to be honest with you.
Yep.
So you got to try to come up with something that's fresh, that's new, that is very much you. And I think that should be your focus when it comes to ingratiating yourself, my new word of the day, in your community. And really kind of be trying to become your local Medicare or life insurance, whatever you're trying to do, celebrity. That should be your focus, is being like the guy or the gal, in the area, like that's who you need to talk to. You need to talk to Johnny, or, Sally, or whatever the case might be. Just use your imagination, like go, have yourself a Disney moment and use your imagination, get a little creative. And I've found, for me, the best things that I've done for my business are when I'm trying to do things that other people haven't done. Like my podcast is a great example of that. There's not a lot of people that was making podcasts when we did it. I haven't made an episode from it since November. We got 3 calls this week from the podcast. So it's something that,
another idea. Start a freaking podcast.
None of you should start podcasts. No, I think just try to be creative and try to think of, unique things that are going to help you stand out. So those are my final words.
I love it. Taco Tuesday Army, if you're listening on Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, anywhere that you can find a podcast, please give us a review. Let us know what you think about today's episode, about season 3, about Taco Tuesday in general. We'd love to hear from you. If you're watching on YouTube, hit subscribe, hit that like button. turn on notifications so that way when we do publish that new episode, typically every single Tuesday, you'll be notified right away. We appreciate you guys. Stay tuned. We've got more episodes coming.